Good evening everyone, thanks for tuning into this stream of the DRS Active Racing League. Sunday night as always, so you've got myself, Pete W, on the box for 32 laps here at Imola. New to the game in 2022, and I know a lot of people's favourite tracks, including Gino, obviously, who has just popped into the purple sector chat, says he's going to win tonight, so that'll definitely help after an abomination of a first round there for the young man, not finishing. I'm not actually sure where the first round was, so my apologies, but yeah, as we can see from the standings at the moment, we've got Sid Vasudev, that is a new name in my eyes, so welcome to the league, Sid, who took the pole position, who took the win in the first round, followed by Amiaza in the AlphaTauri, Coupe in the Red Bull, Jacko in the Alpine, and Pat Verstappen there's a couple of places. There was Jack Aiden and George SSJ, I'm going to presume. So yes, we've got a few minutes until we get going, guys, so I'm just going to go get a quick drink and I will be right back. Thank you very much. Just waiting on the last few races to join now. Hopefully we'll be getting a few in. I can see quite a few of the point scorers missing from last week, namely who we're looking at here. George, Rob and Rakam all missing at the moment, so let's hope they do come in before we get started with this 18-minute 32 lap race here at Imola. Definitely in my eyes one of the more challenging circuits on the calendar. I think it is, for me, an absolute bitch for track limits. Obviously you can run off, that last corner is so tight, and if you run off and it's just a travesty from there, because your lap and your next lap are invalidated. It's a very long straight down into the first chicane, So as with all Codemasters, if you go wide in the last corner, you are gonna lose both laps. So that's something the drivers will need to be careful during qualifying. Looking forward to 17 racers at the moment. We'll shortly be getting going. Thanks everyone who is tuning in and who does decide to tune in during the race. If you do have any comments, do feel free to drop a message in the live chat. I will be monitoring this during the race. Right, let's see. So right now, let's have a quick look at the constructors. Constructors, we've got something I don't think I'll ever see in my lifetime, but I hope so. A Haas in with 31 points. In first, Red Bull with 23, AlphaTauri with 18, Williams with 14, Alpine with 12, McLaren with 2, and Ferrari picking up the last point for the constructors, with Alfa Romeo, Mercedes and Aston Martin yet to score. I'm sure we're going to have, especially with the likes of Casto and Jim driving for Aston and Mercedes, that will not be a problem. Who are Alfa Romeo drivers? Michael Dare had a very impressive run last week at the season finale, if I remember correctly, grabbing second or third onto the podium in the last lap thanks to penalties. So I'm sure all those teams we will be seeing not having any problems gaining points. As we know, Casto was first in the championship last season and Jim was second, I think, or third behind Lease. I'm not sure. No, I think Jim was second. So yeah, let's see how it goes. Got a couple of comments on the stream. Good evening, Liam and Oakley Middleton. I'm sorry, I don't recognise the name, but have some optimism. You never know that stranger things have happened. And we should shortly be getting going. It seems we are. Bull is me. Okay, so you're a Red Bull coupe. I'm presuming you're coupe then. Oh, Bull 212. Sorry, I thought you meant Red Bull. Okay, cool. Hello, Oakley. Again, I believe you're new to the league, so thank you so much for tuning in. Seeing a few new names on the grid. Having a clue. Sid. Bull. Who else? I think that's it for now. Got a couple of numpties in. What's that guy's name? Oh, Gino. Yeah, no, that's the one. No, just kidding, Gino. But yeah, let's see. We've got all the drivers ready and up now. 18 drivers are going to be competing this 32 lap race here at Imola. And as always, I will be here to give you full and extended coverage. My apologies, I did have an idea implemented for this week in terms of getting people into the comments box for chats. I have unfortunately been of ill health, so I've not been online much, but if all drivers do fancy ever getting in the comments box for a little post-race or pre-race interview, please do feel free to add me on PSN. My PSN is Pistol Racing. Let's have a look. Is it going to be dry or is it going to be wet? It's looking a bit overcast here at Imola, but indeed it is dry. I'm the Azza, as always, retiring from the session, always preferring to start from the back. So let's see, who have we got out first? I mean, what an achievement from my Azza in the first race to get all the way up to second. What was the actual track? Let's have a quick look. Not sure. Looking at the calendars, we have our first driver heading out onto the track, and is that Mounted Swan? Yes, it is Mounted Swan. With the McLaren team for this season, having moved over from the Haas team. Sure, the McLaren drivers all want to be putting in a good result, a good effort here. as will all the drivers. So might as well sit on board for this. We've got another driver leaving the pits. I want to say that is a Williams, but I'm not sure yet. Oh, I'm not a bad guess. Or Rakan, yep, Rakan in the Williams. And drivers heading up very early here. Everyone on the softs, it looks like, yep. So sitting on board with Magnus one, who will be our first driver to set a lap. So let's sit on board with the McLaren driver. Who am I watching out for today? Obviously, New Boy. I want to sit on board with the New Boy. Sid won his first race, won the first race of the season and his first race with DRS. So definitely gonna have to sit on board with Sid once we get going. Right, this one just sweeping around, getting his tyres warmed up. Ooh, now that's gonna get you an invalidation in a hot lap. So next two corners, the ones about run wide here, and your entire lap is invalidated for the next one. So we've got to take it easy, but not too easy, or you do lose critical time. Good line there by Mount. Yes, he got that, and runs right to the other side of the track. Just didn't like to start off with there. The McLaren teammate now heading out as well in Gino LeBon. A bit wide. Oh, Rakan seeming to have some connection issues out on track, but has left the session. As we see, Mountain Swan is going to hit a 19. Sorry. So 24.8. So Amiaz are making a little whoopsie with regards to his setup. He's put himself on a set preset and he can't change it. So thank you for the information, Anita. But you never know. You never know what could happen. I thought that was going to be an invalidation there, but a good line out of the turn by Mounted Swan. And down to sharp right left-hander. Getting that much better line out of that than he did on his outlap. As we head down towards the last two corners, what is this going to be for Mounted Swan? Brakes nice and early, good control of the car, perhaps too early there, compromising his exit and entry speed. But what is this going to be from Mounted Swan? It's going to be a 1:16.5. Sitting on board now with Sid, our current championship leader. 1:16.3 from Rude Boy Liam, and Sid was just compromised by the Rakan. And only good enough for fourth, but I'm sure he's going to go again. And wow, during all of that, I missed Castor a 1:15.984. What a lap by the Aston Martin driver for provisional pole. Who else have we got? We've got Bull coming up to the last turns. Decent line there for the last corner. And this is, I thought that was going to be an invalidation there. 1:18, good enough for sixth at the moment, but I'm sure he's going to want to improve on that. Thing is with the EOS here, you are using the vast majority of it on your lap. Well, so I know that's going to be a slow lap. What about Rude Boy Liam? Is he going for another fast one? Yes, and he's currently 4 tenths up on his second sector. So on board with Rude Boy Liam, currently in second place. Only and less than 4 tenths behind Castor. So this is going to be close for the Mercedes driver as we come down to the penultimate turn there. Good line. Well done for keeping out of the limits, and a good exit there for Liam. Is this going to be a provisional pole position? Is he going to go sub? No, it's not. He lost some time in the second sector, and that is a 1:16.075, but still a fantastic effort from the Mercedes driver. Sorry. So who else have we got? Gino LeBron is just about to start his hot lap now. Gino said he's going to win this race, so let's see what he can produce in qualifying. Hopefully he's not going to get held up by Rakan Omar, who's still out on track, still disconnected, apparently, according to my graphics. And that is going to be coming through Sector 1 for Gino. 24.4, staying in a purple sector at the moment. That's a very good effort there by Gino. Heading up the hill. Oh, I'm seeing rain. And Gino runs wide, invalidating in the process. I am seeing rain out on the track though. There is rain coming down here at Imola. And as I thought, 6 minutes into quali, and it seems the early drivers may have benefited here. Cooper in the Red Bull going at 1:16.9, but I'm trying to see how any of these drivers are going to be able to compete with these sorts of tyres with a wet track. Could we potentially already have seen our qualifying done? And if we are, the top 8 I reckon will be decided already. This is interesting, because obviously the drivers do get telemetry about if rain is predicted and if when, and I know when it looks like that I'm straight out on the track like Mounted Swan was. Okay, there goes, right. Aiden Black on 1:17.182. Good lap there, bearing in mind the compromised conditions. Got Bull coming up to, he has unfortunately invalidated, but was up on his second sector. Will he be going again? Going to try and improve his time. He is out of DRS. I don't see it happening. Spurs crazy about to start his fast lap in the AlphaTauri. Let's see what Spurs do. Jacko has retired from the session. Yep, he's put it to the side of the track, not thinking he's going to improve on that 1:18.909. But at least he has set a time. Great exit there from Spurs. Aiden has also retired. Spurs really in control of his car. 24.5. That was faster than, if I remember correctly, that was faster than Mood Boy Liam. Throwing it around this track beautifully is Spurs crazy. Too much curb there. Excellent exit coming up to the end of sector 2. 50.577 and a purple second sector there. Great driving here by the AlphaTauri. A slightly slow exit out of the chicane, but as we head down to the penultimate corner, I call Deo going Pippin top 3. Oh, very close there for Spurs, but what is this going to be? It's going to be a good lap, I think. Only good enough for 4th. Wow, I'm surprised. I call Deo also popping up into 3rd position, but has done his fast lap, and this does not look competitive. No, it's not. So we've got Casto back out. Was up, but he has invalidated. I'm sure he's going to be heading back into the pits. Gino on his out lap. Rakan on an out lap hill. So we've got, let's sit on board with Sid. Sid headed down to penultimate corner, 2 tenths up on his fastest time. But a very compromised line out of those turns, which would have cost him some considerable time, and I don't see this being an improvement for Sid. It was a slight improvement. Wow, okay, 1:16.4, just a tenth behind Spurs crazy. Those must have been some phenomenal first 2 sectors. But with 8 minutes to go, the weather's still drivable on these soft tyres, so we're still seeing decent tyres coming through. What is Pat going to do on his flying lap? 24.823, so currently at 1.5 tenths up on his best. But yeah, some of these drivers running 2-3 old softs, they're not going to want to be doing that for too long. Good line there from Pat. Slightly compromised exit, but gets on the throttle nice and early. Very weird line there, but yeah, down 2 tenths down. Fantastic line there through the chicane. I remember back in the day when this was on the Formula 1 90s games, and that chicane was looked so much bigger than it does now. But coming around the last corner for Pat, is this going to be an improvement for the Red Bull? No, it's not, and he does take to the pits. Sid, what is Sid doing? No, this is an in lap. What about Liam? This is also an in lap. So Gino is out on a lap, but again Gino invalidating, not having much luck. He's used most of his DRS on these laps, and this will compromise him in terms of straight line speed. He's got Street Boy out ahead of him. Will Street Boy get out the way? No! And Gino right into the back of Street Boy. That's his lap over with. Boy going into the pits. Who else can we watch? Jim's driver on his outlap. Let's watch Jim. Let's watch from a aerial view rather than in a cockpit view. This one, not actually watch a aerial view around Imola. But a great exit there by Jim, not catching too much of the curb as he heads down towards the first straight. Long DRS straight. I'm sure we're going to see a lot of overtaking down here over the course of the race. Only 6 minutes left to go in qualifying. What can Jim do here? Nice, very smooth lines through turns 1 and 2 as we head round to turn 3. Got lots of acceleration out of that. And turns 4 and 5, very nicely handled by Jim. He's handling these like a pro, and we've got a 25, 4 and only 1. Saying this is a purple sector, but I'm pretty sure I remember people being in the 24s. If not, we'll see. But that was very smooth first sector by Jim. Heading up the hill and now down towards the fast right-handers. Careful not to spin out here with increasing wet conditions, but a great line there by the Greek driver who heads down 52.278. Nice chicane there. Got a little bit of the right hand side, but it didn't compromise his exit as we head down towards the last few turns. What can Jim do here? Ah, that is a very compromised exit out of the penultimate turn, and this is going to not be one of the better laps. But what is Jim going to put in here? A 1:18.485. I'm sure he's going to want to go again. He's not going to be happy with that time. Is the rain starting to play a bit more? Has he left it too late? Which will give Casto, our reigning champion, a great advantage over the man that came second in the league last year. Gets a bit out of shape there coming out of that turn, and this is 2 tenths up currently. 2 tenths up. I think Jim needs to get a little bit more speed on these straights. Maybe he's using increased downforce settings. Where are we now with the Mercedes driver? What's this going to come across? Slower through sector 2. Unless he can make some drastic improvements in the last couple of turns, which is possible due to his exit from the penultimate turn last lap. It is possible. What is Jim going to do here? No, again a compromised exit. He had to get off the throttle, and I don't see this being an improvement for Jim, and neither does he as he heads into the pits. So who else? Oh, I saw a driver around. Street Boy is around. Where is Street Boy? He's just entered the first sector and is around at turn, I want to say turn 7. Okay, so we've got Rakan on a flying lap. Let's sit on board with Rakan, the Williams driver. And does invalidate. Takes too much speed into the first right-hander and does invalidate. How about Pat? The drivers just are not. I think the weather has gotten too severe now, and I do think we have our grid. I don't think the drivers just don't seem to be able to get the speed that they need. I actually think we do have our grid now, so drivers really struggling to keep their cars on the tracks. We're seeing so many drivers spinning in these weather conditions. And I would be surprised if we do see any movements on the laps currently done. Do believe we've seen the end of qualifying, so to speak. So we do have Spurs Crazy heading out for laps to test the conditions. Still on the dry tyres. Not deemed enough standing water on the track yet to go for inters, but interested to see what we are looking at for the race. Is it going to be mixed? Is it going to be wet, or is it going to be dry? We all know wet causes more carnage, but for me, I just like to see good quality, high quality racing, which is what we've become accustomed to here at DRS Active. So Street Boy having switched to the mediums, and Jim Sharp has retired from session. Street Boy has lost his front wheel and sorry, not Street Boy, Spurs Crazy has lost his front wheel and as such retired from the session. I do think we've seen the last. We have got a McLaren out on track and a Haas in having a clue and Gino, but DRS disabled, having a clue, losing his wheel. Does Gino even have a front wing? Nope. Again, improving this weather is impossible for the drivers, and I think we are just now going to see a lot of drivers retiring from qualifying. So if there is anyone else watching, we've got a minute to go of qualifying where we will be getting going with the 32 lap race, but so many drivers crashing out in this wet weather conditions. I do believe we're going to see, we have got our grid, so we've got Casto starting in first, with Rude Boy Liam just a tenth of a second behind Casto in the Mercedes. Eichel Deo a 1:16.1 for third, Spurs in fourth, Sid Vasudev, our championship leader, in fifth, Mantis one in sixth in the McLaren, Pat in seventh, Coop in eighth, Aidan Black in ninth, Rakan in 10th, the last of the drivers to start on the time that he qualified on. Street Boy 11th, Buller 21212, Jim 13th, Jacko 14th, I'm Yazoo in 15th, Having a Clue in 16th, Gino in 17th, and El Nino in 18th. So all I can say to that is, Gino, I'm looking forward to seeing your recovery. And Rakan, if you are listening to the stream, please do retire. You're the only driver left who hasn't done so. It's a shame you can't pop into the pit box and go, "Oi, you, retire." Actually, no, that would be bad. Yeah, 9 seconds to go. There we go. Good evening, Merlin. Have we had any penalties? Nope, just a few DNFs, so that's fine. We will shortly be getting going again with this 32 lap race here at Imola. And it's full wet. Oh my god, this is going to be interesting. I think this is going to be full wet tyres, as the drivers will be making last minute adjustments to their setups and tyre strategy selections. But this looks like it's going to be a full wet race for now. The skies aren't looking too terrible, so we may see dry later, but I think this is going to start on full wets. Let's have a look. That is definitely full wets. Dark blue rim on the sides, and we are go here at Imola. Now let's sit on board with Rude Boy Liam. He starts always harder in the wet. He does spin out a bit. I call Dare getting a slip on Liam up to second, who's having to third. Spurs also past Liam, heading down to the first corner, and Casto remains in first place. Rude Boy Liam down to fourth. Are we gonna? We've got a spinner. We have a spinner. I think that was Aidan Black. That was Aidan Black. Yep. No safety car yet, but Aidan Black having a horrible start, as is Bull down 4 places, I believe. Aidan down 9 places, and we have got a virtual safety car. This is going to give Aidan a chance to catch up, but has he got wing damage? He doesn't have a wings though yet, just slightly. Wow, this is going to be a long race for the Alpine driver. Still under VSC, and we've got a 3 second. The biggest gap I'm seeing right now is the gap between Pat and Jim in 8th and 9th. Jim already up 4 places, I believe. Let's have a look. Position change. Jim and Jacko up 4 places. El Nino up 5. Aidan down. I do believe El Nino is ghosting. No, he is not. But oh wow, this how the drivers are seeing with this view. We've got a Rakan has retired. Rakan has lost it out of turn 8. Is this going to bring out a safety car? Mounted Swan hitting in the back of. Wow, it's pandemonium here. What is going on? The retirement of Rakan has brought out so much, and we're still VSC. This is crazy, but we're definitely going to have, and there's more. How is this not a full-blown safety car? We've got debris upon multiple parts of the track. A 10-second gap between Jim and Pat. I don't understand why Jim is doing this. That is a very big gap, but we are back racing, and maybe Jim doesn't have a front wing and he's going to be looking to pit. Oh, a Renault has spun it. A Renault has spun. Jacko has spun it. We've got a couple of drivers in the pit. Rude Boy, Liam Mantis, one. Let's move back up. We've got Sid on the inside of Coupe, but backs out of the move, probably wise there. Getting a much better line out of turn 4. No, he's going for the inside, and Coupe leaves in the car's whip, but Sid does get past up to 4th, and now Pat, his teammate, is right on Coupe's back. Will Coupe be able to make a move for 4th place? Currently a 3-second gap between 4th and 3rd. Pat running a little bit wide there. Coupe definitely pushing track limits. I'll just leave from cockpit here. Okay, so now Casto already pulled out a 2-second lead over Imola. Only 2 laps in as well. The Aston Martin driver picking up where he left off last season. As Spurs stay within touching point of Imola, but obviously no DRS because of the wet weather, so it will be down to ERS and tyre management. Will any of these drivers be able to go the full 32 laps without pitting? There are a few, I think, who have the potential, like are really good at tyre saving, but we will see as the race goes on. Jim Strav taking the fast lap there, 1:28.7. I'm imagining we're going to see that reducing over the course of the next lap or two, because I do believe we had we had VSC interference on the last lap, so let's see. But yeah, it's 8-second gap now between Jim and Pat Verstappen. So that's a good 4 seconds closed by Jim in just 1 lap. So he's having to correct himself there, and that did cost him some time. So Imola now 1.6 seconds down. But the best battle on the track as Sid Vesudev pulls away from the 2 Red Bulls is between now of Coupe and Pat Verstappen. I'm sure Pat's going to want to get the move done sooner rather than later. But interesting to note for me, Gino up from 18th to 8th. Wow. So is it 8th? No, 17th to 8th. So well done there on the McLaren driver. Will he be able to back up his tenacious words pre-race with the win that he's intending? It's going to be a hard task, but if, as Coupe, I think, does let Pat past, I think that was an orchestrated move. Coupe getting right off of the accelerator. His teammate passed him without any problems, and Pat now able to chase after the very fast Sid. Jim closing the gap constantly, just 5.6 seconds, and Gino picking up the first penalty, the first track limits penalty of the day. 3 seconds. Jim setting, and next again the fastest lap, 1:28.4. Jim really going for it on these. I know he will want to be catching up. Imiaza up 7 places as well from 15th. He's got some big movers here. Sid up from 9th to 4th. I mean, just wow. I didn't think Sid actually qualified that far down. I thought he qualified in like 5th, but obviously not. So just 1 retirement so far at the team drivers, and that was Rakan on lap 1 after I think sending it, or maybe getting a bit too far or happy into a second right-hander to come up to Imola getting disconnected, or has he retired? He's spun. He's left the session. Jim's now past him. I'm not sure what's happened there. But nonetheless, Jim catching up to Coupe even more, and already another 1.5 seconds up on Coupe. Not as fast as his previous lap, but have we got any battles on the track? Not particularly. So let's sit on board with our championship leader for a little while, see if he's able to close the gap on Spurs Crazy. Now up to 3rd place from 9th, and Bull picking up the second 3-second penalty of the evening on lap 5 of 32. I think we will be seeing a lot of these as the drivers. Racing mode and quali mode are just two so different. You'd go for every ounce, and if you see that gap, you go for it. And that does mean you push harder and perhaps run the track a bit wide. but it is looking like, oh, Miaza now past Michael Dare, but he will be in AI, so yes. Jim just now 3 seconds behind Coop. I imagine within a lap and a half he'll be right on the back of the Red Bull driver. Easy, guys. Very early on the brake surface, Sid. But we've got a yellow flag. Who's around? Who is around? Is that Aiden Black? Aiden Black is around and already being overlapped on just lap 5. It's going from bad to worse for the Alpine driver. I think all balls within closing distance of Jacko. Jacko running very wide out of turns, out of the right-hander. Let's now set on board. They get a supreme exit, moving over to the left right at the last moment, and Ball really slamming on the brakes because I don't think he expected that, but it is a standard move for some of the drivers. Sit right and then smash left right at the last second. They head down to a penultimate turn. Jacko very early on the brakes, Ball having to compromise this turn. Here we go. Ball using his DRS, he's got over 90% of it as he activated it. Jacko still with a decent map as well, actually. So where was that? Sorry. Still no real battles. Still Jacko closing on the Michael Dare, who is still goes out. I'm not sure if he's ghosting, but I too wouldn't want to be taking that chance with a car, and that's definitely not a ghosting car, but it is a disconnected car. So hope Michael Dare can rejoin and get a hold of the car. That's very ambitious from Jacko and gets spun out by the move. I did think. Well, Gino now down to 14th. He must have had some issue or maybe have pitted, but losing a lot of positions as well, Gino. Oh, what's happened to Jim? It looks like, has he taken a pit stop? Yeah, has already pitted, maybe with damage quite early for a pit stop. So Jim down to 10th now behind his teammate Rude Boy Liam. Sid starting to catch up to Spurs Crazy, who is So where are we? Jim quickly moving up and right on the back of a Bull. Let's see how long it takes. Oh, so it's on to Inters, so the track must be drying up then for the switch to Inters. Jim laying off there. I think he knows he's got the advantage on the fresher tyres that may well be more appropriate for the track. And just looking at the traction, the use of the ERS, gets past the Ferrari driver, no problems there, and up to 7th. If we are moving towards an inter-circuit, well, let's see, this could turn out potentially lovely for those early stoppers. Coop still within striking distance of his teammate Pat and keeping a decent gap between one another, but should he make a mistake, ready to pounce. Surprised we've not seen more spins, but the track now drying up, probably even less likely. We've got a semi battle going on for 8th position. We've got Rude Boy Liam and Mounted Swan both closing in on Bull, who does have a time penalty as well. Amiyaza picking up his first 3-second penalty as well. A lot of curb there taken by Mounted Swan, but a good line nonetheless. Let's Bull's got El Nino. El Nino is a ghosting car. I believe he left the session before we got started. So Jim setting the fast lap. It would appear that these Inters are proving to be a good choice for Jim. Oh man, this one be able to make a move on Rude Boy. Former teammates as well, Rude Boy Liam and Mounted Swan in the Haas this season's driving the McLaren and the Mercedes, but losing some time there in sector 1 to the Mercedes driver. Would appear that the El Nino in the Ferrari is actually not a he's not a ghosting car, he's a liking car, so my apologies about that miscorrection. But should he be getting out the way of the faster cars who are about ready to overlap? Yes. And man, this one picks up his first 3 seconds. El Nino into the wall, that will definitely cost him a wing. Red Bull running quite wide there. Is this going to give Liam the opportunity to get the Dragon? Not using his ERS, but the Ferrari ahead of him did get a compromised exit. I'm not quite sure why. Very different lines taken there in the penultimate turn. As we head round, and is Rude Boy Liam going to get the move done down to the first chicane? It's going a long way round. They're going to be side by side at one point. He's got the advantage here, Liam. Great line by the Mercedes driver. There is contact between the Mercedes and the Ferrari into turn 1. Let's hope that didn't cause any damage for Bull, who is now being and doesn't battle the place too hard there with Mounted Swan, and moves from 10th to 8th with Gino right on his back as well. Now Gino will want to get this move done to keep himself in contention with his teammate as well as into the points. Oh, I thought Gino was going to slide it there. Oh, a 5-second penalty for Sid as he goes for speeding in the pit lane. That could prove costly at the end of the race. But are the drivers now moving towards the Inters? I don't think it's time yet. I mean, I know Jim has been putting through some blinding laps on them, but it doesn't look like it's time. Oh, that was a butt clenching moment. Great driving there between Gino and Bull to to avoid contact into the chicane. So have we got any other battles? So let's just sit on board between Liam and Mounted Swan. 126.6 for Jim. As we see Mounted Swan pitting, going to be changing onto those inters, I presume. Oh, Jim sliding it a bit through turn 2 there. But now right on the back of Pat Verstappen already, but I'd say at least 20 seconds behind Casto. He's got a lot of work to do to catch that sort of lead up. He's got 18 seconds. Casto picking up a 3-second time penalty now, so that's going to help tad, but we're talking about considerable pace here for Jim to catch up, and that's if it doesn't go dry. As we know, wets, inters, I'm sure we're going to be seeing a dry air track sooner or later, and there doesn't look to be much standing water on the track anyway, so Coop, having now pitted, has fallen down to 6th with Jim passing him and under heavy pressure from with Pat under very heavy pressure from Jim. Will it be a case of sooner rather than later both are on the inters, but Pat's are going to be a lot fresher. Jim going purple in sector 1 though. Red Bull currently 2nd in the championship, with Haas in 3rd. As it sits right now, Red Bull ready. Close, will pick up. Oh wow, we have a safety car. We have a safety car. Who is it? Is my question. Who is the... It's looking like a McLaren. Gino is out. What happened to Gino? Let's have a look. Looks like he's lost it out of the chicane and slammed it into the wall. Yep, I'm saying he's hit this curb on the left too hard and he's smashed it into the wall. Gino in the McLaren out of the race, and a second DNF for Gino in 2 rounds. Unfortunate there for the McLaren driver, but this is going to allow this is going to allow the group to pack up. Of course, everyone that's been overlapped will not get the opportunity to unlap themselves, and I believe that qualifies for all bar, I do believe Street Boy has been overlapped. Yes, he has. So everyone 11th and up will still be fighting for points, very much so. Question is, what will the drivers be doing here about stops? Now I see the front cars forming up behind the safety car. Gino has left the session. Don't know what I need to turn out, something, apologies. But yeah, this is going to give everyone 11th and up a great advantage. It's a shame for the likes of, say, like Street Boy and Aquadare, who will now be an entire lap down, as they are going to be in the pack and they are going to have to let the pack pass. So theoretically only competing for retirements now. But as we all love a good race, and you never know what can happen in Formula 1. So 19 laps to go under safety car conditions as the lead drivers come around to the 3rd sector. Oh, and we've got a penalty between Sid and Mounted Swan. A serious collision, so I'm guessing Mounted Swan has gone into the back of Sid. Of course, all of these will be reviewed, but we've still got one more lap under the safety car. With Ball now pulling up to the back of the pack. What car? Right, so which one is this? Is this the Mercedes? It looks like it, but I can't tell. I actually cannot tell. Having a clue has DNF'd as well. He's lost it out of... I think that's a pit DNF to be... Actually, I think that is a pit DNF. We've also got Spurs Crazy in the pits. Wow, this track is looking good. This track is drying up. And the safety car is in this lap, so Casto will be controlling the pack. We do have a few gaps between Casto and Pat, who is now in second. So let's wait to see Casto even right to the last moment, and he puts the foot down and he's gone. Will Jim be able to capitalise here? Street Boy getting out of the way. Here comes Jim. Unable to get a move done. El Nino still at the back, and in between Pat and Casto, a 1 second gap emerging between the two drivers. Jim closing up to the back of Pat. Will he get this move done? No, Pat will not give up the place easily, so excuse me, ladies and gentlemen. Definitely the closest on track. However, there is a little bit of a DRS, or what I would call a DRS train if we had one, with Jacko at the back of Jacko, with Bull and Spurs Crazy. Reed Williams starting to pull away from Jacko, 1.3 seconds up, and this one's just half a second behind Sid. Staying on board with this because it's definitely the closest battle on the track, and probably one of the more interesting ones because of it's a fight for the podium positions. Very smooth driving there by the Red Bull and the Mercedes driver. Both of the drivers not having penalties. Let's have a look at the penalty situation at the moment. So 3 seconds. You're at 8 seconds for Swan, 5 seconds for Sid. I'm sure he'll be looking to get out removed. Start going back. Pat still not getting past El Nino, and Casto pulling out a 3 second gap already on the Red Bull driver. And Spurs gets past Buller for the last points paying position currently, and he's only 0.3 of a second behind Jacko and closing. I think I want to sit on board with this. Spurs looking up the inside. That's a very ambitious. There's contact between Jacko and Spurs, but Spurs gets the inside line. Did Jacko perhaps defend that too aggressively? I'm not sure, but he doesn't have wing damage, so now can Buller make something of that little scuffle between the two drivers? Spurs trying to swerving to break the slipstream. Jacko getting past. Oh, there's contact between Spurs and Jacko there. Jacko doing very well to keep control of the car into turn 1 there. Oh, we've got... Oh, okay, that is Mounted Swan getting past Aiden Black. Sid just a few tenths now behind Amiaza, up 10 places. Jim Strav currently sitting as our DOTD at an 11th place gain, but having now also got past Pat Verstappen. He has got past Pat. No worries, Rob. Thanks for letting us know. Rob was having wheel and pedal issues with his new setup, so that's why he chose to retire. But got a good battle coming down the hill for 5th place here. Sid being very sensible. Oh, but Amiaz has run wide, and that's going to give Sid a better shot out of the corner. Is he going to have enough pace to come through? Coming up to turn 1, Jim Strava at 1:25.438. Has he got the pace to catch Casto is the question. Sid using up all of his DRS here. I'm the Asm. And Sid getting past Amiaza and able to get back onto the race line even before the corner. So I think Amiaza did ease up a little bit there. But Sid now look on the hunt for Coop, the Red Bull driver. Red Bull having a very strong showing here today and potentially could take first in the constructors if they're able to keep these positions. Up the hill, keep stretching the gap out, and Amiaz are still very much on the back of Sid, waiting to pounce if there's a mistake. Oh, Amiaz are running quite wide out of the chicane there, but doesn't get a penalty. However, Mounted Swan is now catching up to the AlphaTauri driver. Will he be able to make a move for 6th sooner or later? Jacko getting a 3-second penalty for corner cut, and we will look at the penalty situation again later. Right now, let's just concentrate on the racing. See a lot of cars down this back straight now. Got Coop getting right on the back of his teammate, just 0.7 of a second behind the two of them. Of course, Coop does have the penalty and Pat does not. So will Pat take the tactical move? He's not gaining on Jim. Is he going to allow his teammate pass to gain that free? Was he gain some time over the likes of the drivers behind him so that he doesn't have a penalty? We'll see. But oh, Cooper's run wide and Sid around the outside of turn 6. Great move there by the Haas driver, putting a Haas team back into contention for points here at, or for the constructors, #1 spot. Worth noting, Sid's 5-second penalty was a hit from the back, so we'll see if that does get reported. But potentially right now Sid, well, he is only a 1.5 seconds behind Pat and closing. Coop already a second behind, and Coop really seems to struggle. Oh, Amiaza has caught the back of Coop and has spun it out. Was that a case of one braking too early and one braking too late? It looked like Amiaza was carrying a lot of speed into that corner though, and that allows his teammates Spurs Crazy, who's starting in 4th, up to 8th place. Liam up into 7th, right on the back of Mounted Swan. His old teammate, both having a really good battle like they did last season as well, but as teammates rather than as the rivals now. So let's see if we get a little bit more spicy action than we did at the end of last season between the former teammates. I'm sure we will, both wanting to do well for their respective teams. And wow, Sid Wright is only 6/10 of a second behind Pat. Pat's not being able to get past El Nino, and this is really compromising his race. I mean, is El Nino ghosting? He should be allowing Pat through. It's a ghosted car, I believe. It does look like a ghosted car, and Pat is just not getting past it. But this is opening himself up to Sid. Sid could potentially get right onto the podium here, this lap. Ooh, a bit of late braking, and they're both finally through the Ferrari driver. The race is on, no overlaps in the way. Race is on between Pat and Sid. Oh, Sid getting very compromised exit there. And losing a considerable amount of time, nearly I would say 6/10 of a second about. And he has got a faster exit, so he's going to close some of that down. He's also got the slipstream, no ERS, and Pat's smashing his. He's got 70% left, so really managing his ERS well. Has Pat. But looking at the gap between Casto and Jim, it's 5 seconds now. Will Jim be able to close that gap to get his maiden victory of the season? We will see. Number comment, who is this? Matt, this is the case that everyone has planned until they get punched. If you care to expand on that, Matt, I'm not quite sure, but that is quite funny. Thank you for tuning into the stream as well, mate. You old fart. Decent lines there, but Sid getting a rather compromised exit. Mounted Swan is past Coop. Coop has spun it and is now down to 9th place. Unfortunate for the Red Bull driver, which could have just put Haas back in the driver's seat. Oh, we've got a yellow flag somewhere. Not quite sure what that was for, but watching Mounted Swan now has got past Rude Boy Liam and is making his way through. Oh no, it was Rude Boy Liam who was on the back of Mounted Swan, I do believe. Okay. I don't have access to group chats at the moment, just focusing on the race. So, look, decent line there by Mounted Swan. He really drifted that around turn 5. But Rude Boy Liam catching back up within a second now. Sid just half a second behind Pat. Jim not as fast as Casto. Casto pulling out a decent lead over Jim now, 6 seconds. I think it's going to be about half a second to a second lap on those fresher inters. Sid very much overrunning that turn and costing himself a lot of time to Pat. Is he starting to get a bit restless here? Being behind the Red Bull, I think so. Rude Boy Liam picking up a 3-second penalty for corner cutting. Oh, was that Casto who's picked up a penalty? 6 seconds now for Casto and a 6.1 lead to Jim. Oh, this has just got a bit interesting now. As we see Mounted Swan getting right onto towards the back of Sid. Is the McLaren driver going to be able to overtake his alma mater, i.e. the Haas team? Let's see. As we head up towards the hill. See, this part of the track looks really dry, like almost dry weather, but some parts of the track are just so wet. Dry is definitely not an option, especially with 7 laps to go. But as always, we will watch out for that DRS enabled sign if it does ever come about. It's just 7 laps here left at Imola. I hope everyone's been enjoying the stream as much as I have on commentating it. My apologies for not as much talking as normally. Like I said, I am recovering from a hospitalisation a couple of days ago, so yeah. But nonetheless, bringing you some great action here at Imola, and it kind of seems like a game of yo-yos here. Mountain Swan is catching up on Sid and then losing time to Sid, while Sid catches up on Pat and then loses time to Pat. It feels like a bit of a dominoes game here between the 3 drivers. Will we see any movements in the last few laps between them? But slight gaps here. Jim with all... Oh, hi! Did I actually call it? Did I commentate as cursor? Shit, I was supposed... I think I did. I think I did, because DRS has just been enabled. And we know the sort of times you can do on a fast track around here. Will all the drivers be pitting for softs? Is the question. There are definitely leaps to be made. We've got 7 laps left. 7, 8, 9, 8, 1, 2, 7 full laps, 6 full laps to go in a bit. And we've got a very dry track to the point that DRS has been enabled. For me, that is the point at where, okay, time to get on those softs. Now, Pat, is he going to have to defend Sid on ERS into the straight? Let's see, or will they both be pitting? Interesting to see, is Casto going to pit? Let's see, what does our leader do? Is he going to stay out, or is he coming in? He's coming in. Our race leader is coming in. Will Rest follow suit? I imagine Jim will do. He is on some very worn inters, and yep, it looks like everyone is coming in. And unfortunate for I'm the Azar, no, 8.5 seconds behind his teammate, so he will not be double stacked. But everyone is pitting, apart from Mountain Swan. Mountain Swan has chosen to stay out another lap on the inters. Or is he just going to say, I don't think they've got enough time to catch me. There's 6 laps to go, and pit stop is over 20 seconds. Let's go for it. This could be an interesting tactic for Mountain Swan. Let's see if it pays off. But if we're looking at fastest laps, what were we around qualies? Fastest lap, we're around the 125 marks. We're going to be dropping, I think, 8 seconds a lap. I don't think this is going to be a wise move by Mountain Swan, but let's see. And we will see the times dropping. I'm the Azza has done the same and has come out between Casto and Jim. Jim now 9 seconds behind Casto. Maybe, I think he was getting off the throttle very easy. I think he wanted to make sure he didn't get a penalty, but has that just cost him the race victory? I must wonder. Casto closing forevermore as we see Jacko getting past Bull. No, I can actually see Bull, so I'm guessing that was a pit stop pass. Coop in 9th. We've got Spurs and Sid. Sid really losing out there. Pat picking up a 3-second penalty for corner cutting. And the drivers are going to be going for it. All of them are going to want this fastest lap, but who's going to get that additional point? It did belong to Jim. And we've got a yellow flag in sector 2. That's the Ferrari. I'm not sure if that's Bull. I think that is El Nino. That's El Nino. Sid with DRS, and DRS is already utilising all of his DRS to try and get past Liam. Mountain Swan 5, so he is going for the move, but it's not going to work for Mountain Swan, I don't think. And I think he had the pace as well to keep challenging for a good race place. He was about a second ahead of these two. Let's see if he can hold this spot. Where are we in terms of leader? So Sid currently 22 seconds behind Mountain Swan, but wow, really having to correct there. But Casto definitely will be getting that spot back sooner rather than later. We've got a spinner. I'm the Azza has spun on the inters. He has spun on the inters, which has kind of ruined his race plan. Here comes Casto. Is this going to be the fastest lap? I would be surprised if it is not. And Spurs crazy getting a 3-second time penalty. Castro 1:19.955, so about 6 seconds a lap quicker at the moment than the best lap of Mounted Swan, and this is a pure case of when, not if. He's going to have better traction, better grip, and Mounted Swan, he's just going to have to wait for the driver to not so much let him pass, but just get a better traction, as he has done. There we go, and the move is done. The McLaren is down to second behind the Aston Martin. Jim only 8.3 seconds behind Mounted Swan, now 9 behind Casto. And Imola in the pits, looking like Bull and Jacko could pop in for points. Definitely Jacko will get past him. Bull will not. No, it doesn't look like it. It looks like no. Imola has dropped to 10th, but I think he will stay that way. Imola picking up another 3-second penalty. No, these penalties really starting to rack up. Let's have a look. So we've got Jacko and Imola on 12 seconds of penalty. Street Boy 15. Mounted Swan on 14 seconds of penalties. Wow, I mean that's going to really hurt his chances of getting a decent paying position. Him essentially dropping him already to 6th, I would say. See, Castro 1:19.9. What does Jim do? Wow, a 1:18.7. Now we know Castro was slightly impeded on that lap when he got past Mounted Swan, but what will he be able to pull out here? Board here, we're going to be a whole second up in the first sector for Castro. Wow. And let's see Jim getting past. Hopefully Mounted Swan doesn't put up too much of a challenge, and no, takes a very precautionary line. Oh, Mounted Swan getting very slippery there out of that left-hander, sorry. And now the race is on. Jim, he's got 2 seconds to gain on Casto. Is he going to be able to do it with 3 laps to go? I think it's going to take some sort of effort, but let's sit on board here for the battle for 4th place right now. This is Pat's to lose. He has got just 3 seconds of penalties. This is a race that is not going to be won on the track. Well, it may be won on the track, but will be decided by penalties. And Aiden Black picking up a 3-second time penalty. But Pat just needing to now sit behind these guys. And Pat is on for a podium here. Pat is on for a podium with the 14 seconds of penalties and the inter tyres that we are seeing for Mounted. Pat is on for a podium here, 3rd place for the Red Bull driver, as long as he keeps it fine. And we're now starting to see these times drop. The AlphaTauri of Spurs Crazy picking up the fastest lap of the race and closing quickly on this group. What can the drivers do here for the last few laps? Sid knowing he needs to get a move done or he is going to drop. Oh! Everyone now queuing up behind Mounted Swan. Dives up the inside. And there comes Aiden Black as well. Pat's exit compromised. Aiden is flying around this circuit, unlapping himself. Just showing, if it hadn't been for my spin on lap 1, I would have been on this podium, laying down the gauntlet for the next race. And Sid going very wide. Interesting lines there by the Haas driver to get past Rude by Liam, but he does succeed and has 1 lap to gain the 2 seconds required. Spurs getting past Mounted Swan as well. This is going to be close here. I wouldn't want to predict, but Spurs, if he can set another lap like he just did, potentially is on for 4th position. Pat has lost it. Pat's lost it. And now he's got Spurs right on his back. Who's going to have no ERS, no DRS. Has Pat got it? I would say yes, he has. So the last lap of the race, 8.5 seconds between Casto and Jim. Sid getting past Rude Boy Liam. Oh, these 2 drivers, Pat and Spurs, are still fighting. Just 2.5 seconds behind Rude Boy Liam. They are still fighting potentially for the last podium spot here. Who's going to get it? The Red Bull or the AlphaTauri? Can see we have got our race leader now entering the final sector. We're going to sit on board for another monumental drive by Casto, one of many he's done in this league. heading down towards the final turn, as long as he doesn't mess up his lines. This race will belong to the one, the only, the Aston Martin of Casto. Crosses the line to take first position, and Jim Straub a well-earned second place there for the Mercedes driver. Now, Sid, has he done enough? I think he's done enough to claim third. No. Where are we going to be here? Pat gets fourth, but oh wow! I think Spurs must have picked up a penalty on that last lap, because he remains in sixth. So wow, I mean, what a conclusion to the race. Pat picking up fourth. Slight advantage there for Red Bull, but a 2-3 for Mercedes. That is 33 points on the calendar. And who got the fastest lap? Let's have a quick look. Fastest lap going to Spurs Crazy as well. Mounted Swan, unfortunate there, but dropping to 8th. However, not a bad race for the McLaren driver. The only driver to remain on the Inter's post-going drive and still getting a points finish out of it. So I mean, it was a brave attempt, but 8 seconds behind the fastest lap. We knew that was going to be it was going to be hard for him to hold it up to that point. However, that is round 2 here concluded, and Jim Straub picking up driver of the day for his effort from the back of the grid. I believe starting in 15th position up to 2nd. However, falling right behind still, and Casto taking first place, and 3rd position going to Rude Boy Liam in the Mercedes. A fantastic drive there by the Mercedes driver to claim his first podium of the season. Hopefully not his last, as we see the driver stepping up onto the top step. Let's run through the race positions. We do obviously still have penalties to be deducted, so we may see changes, but let's have a look. We have got Casto in 1st, Jim 2nd, Rude Boy Liam in 3rd, Pat in 4th, Sid in 5th, Spurs Crazy 6th, Coop in 7th, Mantis on 8th, I'm Niaz at 9th, and Bull rounding up the top 10. We've then got finishers in Jacko, Aiden Black, Street Boy and El Nino, taking us to a 14 people total finish out of an 18 driver race. Hope you guys have enjoyed the stream tonight. I know I have enjoyed the action, the controversy. There were some really good battles, especially towards the end once the track dried up, as I would have expected from Imola. But yep, this is once again Pete W, having really enjoyed comms here for the DRS Active League. Hopefully I'll be back next week, guys. I should be. I can't promise 100% no, but I will do my best to be back next week. And have a great day, guys. Take it easy. Bye.